I'm in awe.
Oh no, please. Like, I don't want them to be at odds, because I feel like Brad kind of relies on Fink a bit to, you know, Fink maintains this level of professionalism, but Brad can get away with a little bit of blasphemy. Like, Fink's just trying so hard right now to get through. He's got to manage his own morale, doesn't he?
ASR Crazy Horse, and this one running alongside the Central Mosque is ASR 7th Veil. The NCOs in my 2 shop who did the mapping named the streets after their favorite titty bars. You can be as loose with the ROE as you like. This whole city is declared hostile.
Pound cake.
Oh, God.
Right off the ground. Fucking smell here.
That's a death smell. That's rotten haji.
No shit.
That shit gets me hard.
There's gonna be a lot more like them. There's gonna be a motherfucking fly fest in that town.
That one's a kid.
Future fucking terrorists. I pissed on each one of those stinking dead hajis. They fucking put an American on a cross.
Did that really happen? Jessica Lynch.
Fuck it. I'm going for it.
Bloody hell.
When to shit is a big deal for Sergeant Colbert, isn't it?
In a war zone, Marines shit tactically. Piss too. Sometimes the situation requires that you do not leave the vehicle regardless.
Oh, the adult diapers. I get it.
Know that peace can only be won. The kingdom come, and it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. I am seriously impressed. Taking dumps under pressure, man. That is our Iceman's Achilles heel. Or Achilles asshole. Really pretty country out here.
Except for the mortars.
Yeah, but they're random. I mean, come on, man. It's not like anybody's scoping you with an AK or anything. It's not personal like that.
Rotary says they can't find
You really gotta let some of this shit go.
Our mission is to detain all males and search all structures. How copy?
Get man 2. Copy! Push down to that southern house! Roger that!
Ooh.
Got it. Across the highway!
This is really stressful. The language barrier, like the dark corners.
Red, check this motherfucking crib out.
Women are always the fiercest. You always gotta look out for them. Doesn't matter if it's a black bitch from South Central or some rich white bitch from Beverly Hills. Don't matter if you got a gun or whatever. They'll come after you, screaming. Like women think they're protected.
Sinister? What is that? Drugs? What is it?
Leave it. We're not here to fuck with their livelihoods. Leave it.
So hard for him. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Did you get hit?
You okay? Ray, get out of the vehicle!
Person. Tremblay, what the hell is he? What is Tremblay doing?
Get the fuck down!
Is Tremblay trying to like prove himself after last episode?
Tires, man.
Well, that's fucked.
Cool.
Hey, Sergeant!
He is touched.
See where the fire's coming from. About 2,000 yards.
I guess it's helpful, but
Right by that tree.
surely you need to follow orders.
Left 10, up 10.
We're visual your position. Tally.
God, it's so precise. What are they looking at?
Missile away.
How's Brad gonna react to Tremblay?
This may sound weird, but deep down, I kind of want to see what it feels like to get shot. I mean, not actually shot, but I just get more nervous watching a game show at home on TV than I do here. All this, you know?
Not bad for an asshole.
Don't encourage that. Okay. 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 This ain't fireworks, guys.
Pulled out all the stops for these guys, didn't we?
It's as if there's a plan.
Is there?
Yo, John, back off. It's a fucking charm dump.
That there is the worst look in the world. How to describe?
This is 2-3 over.
Appears to be some dismantling of the outer barricade, general revelry, and what passes for Iraqi house music.
Roger that. Prepare your men to move into the town and find that Marine. Over.
God, like how to search an entire town. Is it time for looting?
Do we light them up? They're not cleared hot. Only if they show hostile intent.
Oh dear.
These are the bad guys, right? You're just gonna let them get away?
But you don't want to start shit right in the middle of here.
Victor, this is Assassin Actual. We've been ordered to link back up.
Crushed building? I was gonna say, is that a yoga mat, but I imagine it's like a bedroll or something.
What about the Mr. Marine?
Yeah. Dead? Or...
Bad news is that once we get here, our platoon is tasked with holding it.
Shaking. You can't just drive around that.
Just went up.
Oh. Grotty.
Garza, level. Fire warnings.
Okay. Another. Narrative structure tells me that this one is going to be not as easy to turn away.
Fire warnings.
Still coming.
Light it the fuck up!
What? Who? Ooh, 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 ooh. Evan.
Do they understand the warning shots? We're all alone. And to our south, we've got an entire hostile town between us and closest friendlies. And 40 kilometers to our north, we got a full mechanized division up there in Al-Qud. And there's 70 of us, Brad, holding this road.
The tension is uncomfortable, but it's reasonable on both sides, and why is there only one translator? Why is it him? I always wonder when you hear chatter like that in the background. I always wonder how much of it's scripted or not. Oh my god.
Ask him why he didn't stop at our warning shots. Ask him why he kept coming.
I feel like you've radicalised people there, haven't you?
He said he's sorry. He wants to know if he can take his daughter's body.
Jesus.
He said he's sorry. We just fucking killed his daughter.
That's what I was thinking.
Arabs don't grieve the way you do. It's different for him.
What does that mean?
Rudy, what happened over Charlie?
You don't want to know. Mm-hmm. Imagine growing up in a war zone like this. It's so casual, it's like so normalised.
Felt cold as a motherfucker shooting those guys.
Incoming!
This is what results in low morale, like not questioning your leaders. If anything, you don't need to question your leaders if you could question your leaders, like. But yeah, like being like undersupplied and understaffed.
How'd it go?
Brought all my men back.
And I shot you? What happened there?
Nate, you wouldn't believe it, man.
It's the second time we've heard that, isn't it?
Y'all find a missing Marine?
They just didn't look for them.
She doesn't know who I am. She doesn't give a damn about me. 'Cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. Into iron maiden baby with me. He lives on my block 'cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, Sergeant. Man, I need a proper gaming chair. I'm sat on a kitchen dining chair. My back hurts. So that was an interesting episode. I feel like there's a lot to think about. We had, I guess it was nice at the start to have the reckless and self-serving leaders being taken down a peg. Like when the subordinate tells Encino Man that he's incompetent, just says it straight up, and whew, what a scene. That was like hella dramatic. And he did ask though, didn't he? He did ask, and if you can't take it, then don't ask, and if you can't take it, then you should question why. And then we also had Owen Yeoman's character telling McGraw that he better not fire his AK anymore because it can get confused with enemy fire. So yeah, it's just interesting to see the subordinates like frustrations boiling over and them actually speaking head on about their frustrations. But then at the same time, like those were just kind of small moments of satisfaction for us, the viewer, and I guess for the subordinates themselves. But then we have both Fink and Brad clearly struggling with the structural confines that they have to work within, with having to take responsibility for other people's failures, and obviously Fink is trying to keep his dutiful hat on and not allow further dissent, and he doesn't, even if it's his subordinates supporting him for having done nothing wrong, he still doesn't want to allow that because he knows, well, according to Godfather, that it results in lowering morale, and it's just generally, I guess, sort of unprofessional. And then we had that scene where Godfather like bollocks them all for allowing dissent, and it's just so frustrating because I feel like often it's this case with Godfather that he has a point, like in the previous episode with the child being shot, and he didn't really want to airlift the child out because of the genuine precarious situation that they were in. But at the same time, you have a responsibility, and so in this case it's frustrating that Godfather was bollocking them because they hadn't done anything wrong, especially when you think about the fact that maybe he won't accept dissent, but that doesn't mean that you have to flip the entire other way and kind of lavish praise about something that's clearly wrong, like properly blowing smoke up Encino Man's arse. For me, that's just as damaging to morale than kind of talking about how horrendous and ridiculous it was to actively praise someone for doing something ridiculous. It's just crazy to me. Like, if anything, it should have been kept. I don't know, I guess even just not acknowledging it and saying, or at least saying, you know, we're kind of discussing that behind closed doors, is better than saying, great job you did that time when you didn't do a great job. And then also we had the mission to save the Marine. So I'm trying to figure out whether that was, I assume that was based on a real thing. I think the mission was like aborted halfway through, wasn't it? That they didn't go on to save the Marine, this episode at least. Not that they like found her dead or anything. I think that's what the case was, that they went in there thinking that they were going to do a meaningful mission, and then they got dragged out because of course they did, because all the orders are kind of ill-informed and changeable at any minute. And then even worse, after that we had the roadblocks. We had our guys being charged of setting up the roadblocks and shooting off any oncoming vehicles, which didn't look like a great job, did it? Brad clearly was unsure whether the oncoming vehicles, whether the people driving them knew that there were warning shots that had been shot at them. I mean, that kind of confused me, because surely if anyone's shooting at you, just turn right around. But then we had the little girl die just dead in the car, and that was so sad, and God, that was truly awful. I can't even comprehend that. I feel like we kind of, maybe this is not actually correct, but I feel like we're kind of getting closer physically to the enemy, and also civilians. We're kind of seeing more face-to-face time between them and more results of the devastation. Like the amount of bodies that we saw strewn around the floor in this episode was pretty horrendous. But then again, at the same time, we saw a lot of devastation from afar, like when Baghdad was being bombed, and then all the guys are shooting up their guns into the sky, celebrating. I'm not sure kind of what the main narrative arc of this series is. I think that in Band of Brothers it was kind of more clear, you know, it was like we're leading to the end of the war and we're leading to capturing Hitler or whatever. Maybe it's because I'm more familiar with that time period, and also more familiar with adaptations. You know, I must have seen hundreds of films or read books that are set in World War II. Whereas this era is less familiar to me, which is funny considering how close it is, but I guess that's why, you know, you can only understand these things upon reflection, and maybe we're sort of still too close, or I don't know. So I do wonder what this series is aiming for. You know, I mean, like in the Pacific we had, oh shit, I forgot his name. I've forgotten Joe's character's name. Jesus. The Pacific cast. It's going to be so annoying when I see this, and it's going to be so obvious. With Lecky, with Sydney, Eugene. I think with Eugene, I was kind of intrigued throughout. You know, before he got to go to the war, he was. I was wondering how well or otherwise he'd do, and then we saw him kind of really turned quite vicious for a moment by the war, and then by the end he didn't want to accept that either. He kind of went back in himself and realised that he didn't want to see the enemy as like filthy Japs and stuff. And then we saw him go home and kind of PTSD, struggle against that, and struggle with civilian life. Whereas I don't know where this will go. Will we have an episode in the Pacific where we're back in America? I don't know. I'm not sure. There's only 7 episodes. Is this show about that kind of character arc or character development, or is it more kind of meant to be like a collage of experiences and, you know, accurate representation of what Marine life was like during that period? I guess because it's written by the writer of The Wire, which I gather is a lot about leadership and the people working beneath them and kind of butting up against each other, and the kind of admin and bureaucracy of complex situations like this. Maybe it's more about that. It's meant to be about leaders versus subordinates. I guess one thing that I've learnt from this episode is what combat jack means. So if you like this episode, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and hopefully you'll join me next time.